Just want to give a little spoiler about this video. There's going to be some potty language. So if you don't want to hear potty language, turn this video off. You've been warned. On with the show. Star Wars and EA has had a troubled history from the beginning. May 6, 2013, a day that will live in infamy. The day that Disney signed a 10-year exclusive deal with Electronic Arts to make all of their console and computer-based Star Wars games. Mobile, comic books, anything else, that's okay. But EA clamps down, owns exclusivity on the big ones, the console games, right? Why the hell would Disney do this? Most likely because they didn't understand how to run games. LucasArts collapses, gets absorbed into the stratosphere. The last major Star Wars game came out just a year before, Connect Star Wars, which, let me tell you, was a collection of Star Wars-based minigames. It was a piece of shit. I bought it. I didn't know better. I had a Connect. That was a piece of shit. I bought it. I didn't know better, okay? I can't blame myself in the past, but I didn't know. A lot of us didn't know. The writing was on the wall, but we wanted to believe, okay? Star Wars was in a bad place. I don't know why. It's so easy to make a Star Wars game. Nobody's calling me. Thousands and thousands of ideas have been posted by many of us on Reddit and by Twitter, but nobody, the executives, want to listen to people like me. Nope, they want to go ahead and sell their soul to the devil, which is EA. And look what EA has done with that golden egg, the exclusive rights to Star Wars games. Since that day, they've released 2 console games, Star Wars Battlefront in 2015 and Star Wars Battlefront 2 in 2017. Both of these games had major flaws with them, and the Metacritic scores don't accurately reflect this. Remember that the original Star Wars Battlefront had no single-player campaign, and it really didn't have much of a soul. It took a lot of assets, it took a lot of existing EA engines, and it shoehorned in Star Wars characters, Star Wars locations, Star Wars weapons, things like that. When I say the game doesn't have any soul, here's what I mean. The game was billed as this squad-based shooter where you were going to take small groups of the rebellion or of the Empire and fight either in first person or third person across a slew of battlescapes across the Star Wars universe, sometimes on foot, sometimes on vehicle on the ground, sometimes in dogfights out in the heavens, okay? Really cool ideas here. The problem is it doesn't have soul because the character classes and the way the game was presented, the way you got power-ups, basically by running across the field and just grabbing a little token and ta-da, suddenly you're Darth Vader, or ta-da, suddenly you get to fly the Millennium Falcon. All of those things took away from your mission as a squad-based shooter. When you play Battlefield 5, okay, and you spawn as an engineer, you are a support now, but whatever, engineer sub-spec. You are required, not required, but the game is geared for you to do certain tasks, to fix your armor, to attack enemy armor, to build up fortifications. The problem with Star Wars when you have these little tiny trinkets that you run around and collect is you just say, oh look, squirrel, and you run off. Hey, where's our medic? Hey, where's our guy giving us bullets? Hey, where's our tank? Hey, where's our whatever? And you lose that, again, I'm using the word soul here, but you lose that character of the game, that unique relationship that you have with your squad mates to make a difference in the virtual battlefield. The game didn't do well because of that, and a lot of people picked up on that. You can call it whatever you want, but ultimately, that's where it started to fall short. Granted, there were not a lot of maps. They were very DLC heavy because, hey, EA. But you had a lot of problems with the game where the longevity wasn't there. The heart of the game was missing. When you started playing it, you asked yourself, why am I playing this? And it quickly fell apart. That's why 2 years later, they fixed the problem by releasing Star Wars Battlefront 2. They included a much-missed single-player campaign, which was trash. They did get rid of the token-based system where you run around on the battlefield to power up your character at any given time, and they replaced it with microtransactions, which led to the most downvoted comment in Reddit history, which is a pretty amazing feat. So for that, I gotta say, good job, EA. You have managed to piss off the entire internet the most ever in the history of ever by being money-grubbing fools that you are. Laden with microtransactions, sales in the absolute toilet, Disney executives calling out to EA saying, what the hell have you guys done? Fix your mess. Ultimately leads to a mea culpa last year at E3 when they announced that the microtransaction system is going to be removed. They're going to add tons of new content, tons of new maps. They're going to keep players invigorated. We're going to do in-game things where you're going to earn tokens and play that way. Don't worry, we're going to fix it. Well, I can tell you guys that I don't think it was fixed, and a lot of other people had already pieced out by that point. Many of us said nope and moved on, and the game fell from grace. You look at the way that these two Star Wars Battlefront games were handled versus the Star Wars Battlefront games that came out many moons ago, and you will see a very radical difference in the way the fans talk about them, the way fans receive them, and most notably in the sales, because both of these games did not do well. The EA effect, unfortunately, carries on, and unfortunately, this is the last slide of my deck because I didn't want to have a lot of slides here. Look at the canceled games. Visceral Games Project Ragtag, headed up by Amy Hennig from Uncharted, putting together a very detailed story about a Han Solo crime family. You know, that bounty hunter, that scoundrel, not the proper Jedi Knight, not the mindless drones that carried out the Emperor's orders, but the guy that's just trying to get by in the middle. Think of our beloved Dash Rendar in a fully fledged game with dialogue options and decision trees and levity that really forced you to get into the universe. Oh, you never got to play it? Well, that's because they canceled it. But don't worry, they started working on Project Orca, which was going to be an open world bounty hunter game where you're going to get quests and you're going to go on bounties and you're going to get together and do raids with your friends and you're going to take down other gangs and you're going to have faction points. And oh, you didn't hear of that one either? That's because it was just canceled the other day. That is the EA effect. If I was Disney, I would be absolutely livid that I gave you guys the keys to this insane deal and you shit out two lame-ass games. And as a fan, I'm very frustrated. As a fan of Star Wars, I'm very disappointed. And I think many of us are. So I say to Disney, get out of this contract. Do anything with anybody else. There are so many amazing talented developers out there who would love to take it and make a fan-favorite, fan-based passion game. Look at Cory Balrog. Look at how he stands up on stage when he receives the Game of the Year award for God of War, a labor of love that took him 5 years to create. Those games aren't shit out overnight. Look at what Insomniac did with Spider-Man. Look at how great that game looks. The story and the emotion and the feeling that was injected into it. Why can't we get this with Star Wars? I'll tell you why you can't get it with Star Wars. It's because EA is a machine that just takes things and chews them up and spits them out. Gotta get that bottom line. Gotta get that bottom line. Gotta get that bottom line. That is what they do. Look at any game over EA's history as of late, and you will see this to be a fact. This isn't anything new, guys. We've been talking about why EA sucks for years. There's a reason why they're the most hated company in America for years. Because they take great things and they bastardize and they cannibalize them and they ruin them. And Star Wars, unfortunately, is the latest game in this long, long series. And I hope that somebody at Disney is smart enough to click on youtube.com/ViperMagic and watch this very video for themselves and realize that, oh my God, this guy is right. We need to get out of this contract. We need to put Star Wars in the hands of developers who care, who have a passion, who will deliver quality products of games that fans will remember for years. You remember that game, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic? It's hard to forget because people still talk about it today. And with that, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.